Hi everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to handle a return check from a customer in QuickBooks Online. So as an example, I'm going to use Duke's basketball camp. They had an invoice on November 1st and they made a payment on November 6th, which was deposited into the checking account. They paid by check. And what I'm going to assume is that this check came back from the bank as a bad check or an NSF check. So we need to create an entry to show that the customer still owes the $1,200. So what I would do is create a journal entry. In my journal entry, I'm going to debit accounts receivable. And over here on the right hand side, I'm going to put the customer name, and that just ensures that it shows up on that customer page so I can see this transaction along with all the other transactions. And I'm going to credit whatever account the check came back to, which would be the checking account in this case. And then I would add a description. And save it. So now what we have is an open balance on this customer of $1,200 showing that they still owe this money. So I would go to my banking page. Because this is a sample company and I just used an amount of a transaction that was here, this is not an actual situation, it's just an example. It's not automatically matching the entry to the journal entry. So if it doesn't automatically match it, you can find the match by clicking on this button. And the date range usually gives you a few months time period, but you can change this date range if you need to. And the journal entry is all the way down here at the bottom, so I just check the box and click save. And that took care of that part of it. I'm going to go back to the customer. So some companies also charge a fee to the customer if there's a return check. So what you could do for that fee is just create a new invoice. And I'm going to use you can create an item here by just clicking add new and name it what you want and map it to whatever account you want to map it to. But I actually already have an item in here, so I'm just going to use that. And I'm going to assume that they get charged $25 for a return check. So just save and close. So now the customer owes $1,225. So let's say I call the customer, they are apologetic, and they bring me cash. So now I want to create another journal entry to show that the customer made a payment. So I'm going to do a journal entry in the opposite direction of my first entry. This time I'm going to debit the checking account and credit accounts receivable. And I'm going to go ahead and just do it for the $1,225. And I'm also going to put the customer name over here on the right hand side. And then I could add a description as well. So I'm going to save that. And if I go to the bank and deposit it, it is going to come in on the bank feeds. So I would just match that journal entry to the deposit in here. Okay, if you look at the customer page, it still shows these items as open, but it shows them having a zero balance because the positive and negative numbers basically balance each other out. So the customer no longer owes money because they brought in the cash. But in order to close these items, I could just click on receive payment, and it's going to have the $1,225 here as outstanding transactions, which would be the journal entry in the $25 invoice, and then I can offset it with this $1,225 journal entry from the payment. So if I save and close, that's going to show everything closed out. And then if you want to double check your reports, you could. So I'm going to go to the balance sheet, and I'm going to look at accounts receivable and make sure that those transactions are correct here. So I had the $1,200 invoice originally, which was a positive number, offset by the negative $1,200 payment. So that those two, the positive and negative, cleared each other out. And then I've got a positive $25 from the invoice and a positive $1,200 from the journal entry, and those are offset with the $1,225 journal entry. So in other words, my accounts receivable account should zero out or have a net effect of zero after all of that is done.